So we're now actually here. Well, I wish face to face, but we are interviewing Drew Baldridge. Well, it's just, it's actually amazing just to actually have you on with us because Blaine's been very excited. I've been very excited to have you on, especially because we know that you're quite big, especially over the pond there. So thank you so much for coming on and joining us.
Man, thank you so much for having me. So glad to be here. Anytime I can sit down and talk country music with anybody, that is a go for me.
Love it. Yeah. Like we're the same. We're just happy just to kind of sit. It'd just be so awesome if we were in the same room rather than like over Zoom.
Oh yeah.
But hopefully one day. So
yeah, for sure.
Well, as we always start with the questions, we always want to ask the same thing. Where did it all begin for you? Like, where did you grow up, and where were you born, really?
Yeah. So I was in a little town in southern Illinois. If you guys know anything about the states over here, it's about 4 hours north of Nashville. So not too far from Nashville, but grew up in a super small town of about 500 people. So I graduated high school with 22 kids before moving to Nashville, and grew up on a family farm there. My grandpa farmed, and so we just did, cattle, and we had corn and beans. And, I grew up working hard at a really young age. That was always something that was instilled in me was, hey, you go out and you work hard for whatever you're doing in life. And, singing, I started playing piano in kindergarten. My mom and grandma wanted music to be in all the family. So they started every kid, my brother and my cousins, all out at piano. And I was the only one it stuck with. I just loved it. And I started my first time performing live in front of anybody was my Christmas program. I think in first grade or kindergarten was the first time, and singing live in front of people. And man, I just loved it since day one. And ever since then, I've done talent shows and, dancing and just lip singing, whatever it was to just be in front of people. I love performing. I love making people smile. I love entertaining. And it all just started right there in that little bitty farm town.
Oh, that's so cool. What I love as well, I can just picture you just being like, I'm playing Joseph in the Nativity. Like
that's 100%.
You seem like that kind of person. I need the lead. I've got this.
I want the lead part. Yeah.
I was always the shepherd. Like,
yeah.
I had to grow to that. I started as the sheep, but then I got promoted.
There you go. You got to put the hat on as the sheep. Yeah.
Love it. It's all good.
So Drew, how did you get into like the musical industry, and who are some of your like musical inspirations when like you were growing up and to this present day?
Yeah, man. So I moved to Nashville at 19 and just started diving in, writing songs. Obviously, before that, I was writing songs. I think my first song was like 13 or 14. And, I moved down here and I started playing at a bar called Tootsie's, which is like down here on what we call Broadway. And, I did that for about 2 years and really honed in my craft, and as a performer. And, but when you're down there, you can't play your own music. So you can really get tied up in making money and just being a cover band, essentially. And what a cover band is, for those of you out there that don't know what it is, it's just like a band that just plays everybody else's songs except your own. So you're covering, Jason Aldean songs or Eric Church songs. And then, my goal was to be those guys, and so I did that for about 2 years. And then I got out of there and started writing and just going out everywhere in town. There's always events going on in Nashville, and, there's all these music insiders or all their publishers, producers, label heads, A&Rs, and just trying to show my face all the time, to make sure that they knew I was in town, to make sure I was creating the best music that I possibly could. And just went out to all these events and tried to make relationships, because that's the biggest thing in this industry is who you know. And obviously a good song, a great song, not a good song, a great song opens a lot of doors. But, you think about artists that just know a lot of people, not that they're not talented at all, but, Cole Swindell sold merch for Luke Bryan before he was Cole Swindell, and it's like, who helps you open all these doors for your talents. And so I just had to go out and meet a lot of people and just try to open as many doors for myself as possible. And really, my big influences growing up, there was Josh Turner was a big influence of mine, and Brooks and Dunn was a big influence. And I mean, Alabama, I think, was the first country song I ever heard, was Born Country by Alabama. And my dad had an old mixtape that had Alabama and John Anderson. There's a song called Money in the Bank. I don't even know if you guys know who John Anderson is, but he throws way back. He's got a really unique kind of voice. He kind of sings with his like way back, and it was just, he was great. And so growing up, I was surrounded by country music, being in that little town, and having all these great, artists to grow up on, as that you guys know how great Brooks and Dunn is, and Josh Turner, and all this country music that they're making. And that was when I realized, hey, country music is my life. That is, I live those songs every day.
Oh, awesome. Well, in that case, going on to actually some of your like EPs. So early on in your career, you had EPs out such as BYOB, All Good, She's Taken, and Crossing County Lines. How much do you think you've developed as an artist after, like, with all those EPs? Like,
oh man, that stuff is all like, looking back on it, I'm like, oh shoot, what was I doing putting music out? I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was just writing songs and throwing. It was almost like standing way back at a map and just throwing darts at it and see what hit. And those are all parts of my career though that I got to really cherish and really love, because that was when I started creating a fan base, was those songs. I was touring that whole time and I needed music to tour on. So we would go in, we'd write songs, we'd cut them, and we'd make these CDs to sell at our shows. And, they weren't, looking back on them, the songs weren't as good as they could have been. But at the time, I thought they were great. And so I've just grown so much from there, till now. I mean, we're talking, some of those EPs are, 8 years ago, which 7 years ago. And if I'm not continually to grow on every project, I'm not doing something right as a creator. And you always try to drive and push yourself to be better and have better production, have a better singing. And I mean, looking back, me as a singer back 8 years ago, I was garbage. Like I listen to some of that stuff, I'm like, what was I doing? That sucks. But I just, man, it really led me along the path. It's like everybody always says, when you start, to find your wife, you have to date all the people to get you there, and it's like, for me, all those songs that I did 7, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, they were all to get me to the music that I'm making today. It's figures out what I like and what I don't like and who I really am as an artist. And now I feel like I know that more than I did 8 years ago when I was living in my hometown and just trying to find something that people would like, instead of really writing music that connects or writing music that hits home with somebody. I was just trying to find something that worked. And now I feel like in the last couple of years, we're really starting to write that music that means a lot to me. And it's obviously hoping to mean a lot to a lot of people.
So cool.
Yeah, because like you live and learn. Because when like you released your first studio album, like Dirt on Us, the single Dance With You, that made an entry on like the country airplay chart. And like, so what was that feeling like for yourself, knowing like from the days of them EPs all the way like to then get your music onto like the next level, up onto the airplay chart? Like, how did that feel for yourself?
I mean, that was wild. I mean, that was 2016, 2015, something like that. We have a big station over here called Sirius XM, the highway.
Yeah.
And Dance With You got to be played on there and made it to the top 10 on their countdown. And that was big stuff for us, and then that was my first song ever getting into the 40s on the radio chart. I've never experienced that, which was a big thing, and then we followed that up with a song called Rebound that moved a lot of mountains for us and got us, some 30 million streams on it. And another song that got in the 40s, and it was my first video to ever reach 1 million views on YouTube. And so many things with songs on that first record moved a lot of, mountains for us, and did a lot of big things. And hearing your song on the radio for the first time, I mean, that never gets old. Anytime that you can hear your song on the radio is a huge deal. It makes you so excited. That's why you got into creating music, is to all hope one day you hear your songs on the radio, and just to know it's being heard by the masses. And so when our music started doing that, man, it was it was crazy. We celebrated a lot. I mean,
I
it was
bet.
awesome.
If I had my own song out and I heard it in like the car or something, and I'm going along the highway, I'd be blasting it, windows down, honking the horn, saying, "Listen, get on this radio station now!"
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, you'd be jumping. Oh, I would love that. I mean, unfortunately, I can't write songs or anything like that. I can barely sing. So we'll not try that. But going off that, your single Senior Year, that gained a lot of attention in 2020. Would you say that would be probably like where you see a change in your career?
Yes, big change. That was a song, I wrote that probably in 2018, 2019. And, the hook, if you've never heard the song, the hook goes, "Never thought it would disappear senior year." Well, I feel like that time, was a big moment. I just changed producers, switching producers. I just really started writing songs differently, diving in harder, making, not settling for any kind of song, but really writing real deep and being hard on myself and trying to make every line special. And that was a song I just wrote about real life. And, when 2020 came, I lost my record deal, which was hard. The record company I was on closed down. And senior year, right when the pandemic hit in March of 2020? Yeah, March of 2020. All these kids this senior year around the country did disappear, and like it was over for them in the US here. And so this song, my dad called me and he said, "Hey, Drew, there's a little girl down the street. She used your song and put all of her senior videos and senior pictures to it. You ought to go look at it." So I didn't think much of it. I put the song out. I didn't have a whole lot to do with it. It came out the year before. My label just kind of dropped it, didn't have anything to support it. And so I went and watched the video and it got to the hook where it said, "Never thought it would disappear senior year." I just started crying. I was like, oh my gosh, these kids' senior year did disappear. So I jumped on Facebook and social media. I couldn't play any shows. All our shows were canceled. And I just said, "Hey, class of 2020, if anybody out there wants a Zoom concert," I said, let's do it. So from my living room, I was doing about, 7, 8, 9 concerts a day from just sitting in my living room for kids and classes around the country. And man, that wore me out. But it was awesome. I cried with these kids. We celebrated these kids. Nobody could leave their houses. And then that quickly turned into, "Hey, Drew, will you fly to California and sing a drive-in graduation? Will you fly to New York and sing in a parade graduation that people are just getting out of their cars or getting their diplomas handed to them in the cars?" And so I started flying all around the US and playing this song at different graduations when nobody could play. And then that turned into radio stations all around the US playing this song and it getting top 50 at Billboard with no label. I had no label support. It was all just me, just calling radio friends and saying, "Hey, I think this song would mean a lot to your listeners." And before I knew it, I had a top 50 song on Billboard and I promoted it all myself. It was wild. I've never thought I could do something like that. And that really changed our career. I mean, people started noticing us on socials. Social started growing in a big way. And it really, changed the path of our career tremendously because I was so bummed and so low that I lost this record deal and I didn't have a new record deal. And this song just gave us a whole new life.
That's absolutely incredible. That thank you for sharing that. That's so awesome. I didn't even really think about like people who are in their like senior year, or like in our case it would be like their last year in sixth form before they like graduated and moved on to like university, college. I never even thought about that, and all those people who have like all those kids who have had to go through not being able to see their friends for their final few months.
Yeah, I can't imagine not, like, a lot of these kids didn't get to walk the graduation.
Yeah.
I don't know what y'all call it over there. I'm assuming it's graduation. But
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't get to play their final, they didn't get to play soccer. They didn't get to play their last year of baseball, basketball, and that's a big deal over here. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I still get together with my boys from back home that I did my last year of school with. We're like, remember when we almost went to state in baseball, or remember when we almost got the girl, and just all these memories start flooding. and these kids, they're just going to say, hey, remember when our school didn't happen?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, hey, remember when we stayed in? And so it was a big deal. These kids losing all their last year of school over here, not being able to do anything. And it was also not just the kids. And one thing I learned, it was the parents, because, they want to celebrate their kids' successes too, and be there in the crowd and cheer them on. And they didn't get to do that also. So it was a lot of, sad moments. And this song, as a musician and a songwriter, you just hope that you create music that people can relate to, but also that people can, make a situation better, or make them relive a memory, or relive a moment, or what it should have been like. And I feel like a lot of people found comfort in this song, which was awesome.
Yeah, I love that. That's
because I can just think, I can hear songs and I go like relate back to when I was at school. So this like COVID situation will go down in history in all our lives. Like we'll all look back and be like, "I remember when this happened." So when people hear your song senior year, they'll just flash back to that memory, what it might not have been, but just what that was in their moment of time.
Yeah, and I mean that's all I wanted to get into music for, was stuff like that, to create music to put people in a memory. I have so many songs, just like you said, that you hear it and you're like, oh man, I was dating her. We were there. You know what I mean? It's just like,
it puts you in a
there's so many
situation.
it puts you in a situation. In this song, I think there's going to be a lot of kids around the world that hear this song, and it's going to take them back to that time, which is awesome.
Definitely. Like they're just gonna, if they hear any of your songs now, that's gonna be brilliant, because they're just gonna go, oh, remember in 2020 when Drew Baldridge did this song, he did live concerts in his living room, he flew out to our school and did this. Like, that's such a good thing that you did.
Thanks, buddy.
I love that.
So
Thanks.
like continuing, because that wasn't the only sort of like success that you had through like social media and stuff, because one of your songs went like viral on TikTok, and it was That's You, and it was the one where you played it to your wife in the car for the first time.
Yeah,
it was just
man,
rocking up millions of views and stuff. How did that
was
feel?
wild, man. Like I never thought I'd get on TikTok. I'll be honest. I have a friend in town. Her name's Lainey Wilson, who's an amazing songwriter herself and has some great songs. And she's flying up the charts right now. Well, I remember her posting, it was right around Christmas time of this past year. And I just called her and I was like, what the heck is this freaking TikTok crap I see you doing? She's like, Drew, you got to get on it. I know you probably think it looks silly. She goes, but I'm moving so much music and growing a fan base on there. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. Well, I decided I'd jump on there, and I posted a couple videos. I had like 300 followers. I was like, nobody's going to come over from Instagram. Well, I studied what everybody was doing on there, and I had this song that I just wrote. And, in Nashville, I'll be honest, you guys, the listener only hears about 10%, if that, of what everybody writes, just because we don't know if we're going to put the song out. We don't know, if it's good enough. And so I wrote this song. I thought it was pretty good. I wrote it for my fiance at the time. And most of the time I just play stuff for her and be like, hey, you like this or do you not? And, well, we were driving home for Christmas, and I pulled over on the side of the road, and I was like, hey, I got this idea. I said, I'm going to play this song. It'll be the first time you hear this song. I said, I'm just going to put it on my TikTok. And you should have seen her look. She was like, really? That's what your plan is? We're running late for Christmas and you want to do a TikTok? And I was like, yeah, let's try it. And so I had 300 followers at the time, so we did it. I posted the video. I didn't think anything of it. We go to her mom's house for Christmas. We didn't have any service. And then I leave her mom's house and I open up my phone, and it's like 500, 600,000 views. And I'm like up to like 20 or 30,000 followers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, people are really liking this. And then I posted it on, Instagram Reels, and it did the same thing. It like flew everywhere on Instagram Reels. And before I knew it, the video had about 2 million views on both social media platforms. And I had 60,000 followers on TikTok, And so we hustled as fast as we could. We wasn't prepared for it. And we got the song out, and the song ended up making it top 5 on the iTunes chart. And we put the video out, and the video is now almost at 1 million. And, that really led us into a new song called Beach Ain't One right after that I put up on TikTok, and it got another couple million views, and it took our followers on TikTok from 60,000 to 150,000. And we had this song, and we put it out, and it did really great things. And everywhere we go now, it became a staple. And then all of a sudden that turned into do this song, She's Somebody's Daughter. and which I've had written for 4 years, 3 years. I put it out in 2019, an older version that my label just kind of threw out there, didn't give any love to it at all. And it was my favorite song I've ever written. And I always believed in that song, that I knew it was something special, that if people heard it in the correct way that I wanted them to hear it, that it could be something special. And this version of Daughter that we had out, I didn't like it. It was too fast. It was too up tempo. It didn't get the message across. And so I made this special piano version for my wife because I was getting married in May. And, I made this special piano version and just really slowed it down. And she ended up dancing to this song with her dad at our wedding, which was incredible. And so I just posted it on TikTok. It goes back to TikTok. And I said, hey, guys, if you want this song, I think I said something like, if you get this to 5,000 likes, I'll put this song out on Friday, And before I knew it, it had 300,000 likes. And it was like 2 million, 3 million views. And so I dropped the song, and the song went like top 5 on iTunes. And it still has just stayed the top 100 songs for the last 2 months, 2.5 months. It's just lived up there. And this song is, I can't say I owe it all to TikTok, because obviously I'm not relying on TikTok, using it as a tool, but it's really taken our career and really sold and moved a lot of music. It was something I always knew I was making music that would impact, but I never had a platform to get it out. And this platform has really allowed me to people to hear this song all around the country. And it That's You went viral on TikTok, but She's Somebody's Daughter was like a next level of viral, like I've never seen before.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that song, actually, because that actually brings on perfectly to the next question. I have to say that is actually one of my favorite songs as well.
Absolutely. I want it at my wedding.
Yeah, like I mean, I've picked, because I'm engaged, and I have picked a song, and I don't want to offend you, but it is going to be very close, because now I've got 2 songs. It's either going to be that one, or, I'm sorry to say this, Russell Dickinson's Yours.
Boo. No, I love Russell. He's great.
Yeah. So, but now obviously you made it hard for me to choose, because you put that song out and did that, and I was just like, that would be a perfect song. And as Blaine said, he goes, that's going to be mine. So
yeah, claimed.
Yeah, claimed. Dibs.
I appreciate that.
So, as an obvious one, like, would you tell us like the meaning behind that song? It's probably self-explanatory, but just for people who might not really know.
So I wrote that song after meeting, at the time she was just my girlfriend, but I met her dad, and I was driving back to Nashville, and I had this idea, of, I think I saw She's Somebody's Daughter on a billboard or something like that. And I was like, oh man, like I need to write that down on my phone. And I wrote it down on my phone. I had this idea. So I went back to Nashville, and I sat down with some really great songwriters, Cameron James and Jimmy Urey. And Jimmy Urey is a beast of a songwriter. And, he's written songs like I Drive Your Truck and like massive hits. And so I sat down, I had this idea, and I was like, man, I just kind of want to write this as a message to myself to never forget, if I break her heart, I'm breaking her mama's heart and her daddy's heart too. Like, and I never want to forget that. I never want to ever forget that. And so we wrote this song, and I remember leaving that day and thinking, holy crap, like this song is an amazing message that I think everybody needs to hear. And you don't get that very often. Like when you leave a songwriting room, you're like, it's okay. It was good. I just remember leaving that day and thinking, wow, this is something special, and then recording it. And, but right when I wanted to put it out, there was a girl named Tennille Towns who put out a song called Somebody's Daughter, and she put it out to country radio. The song couldn't have been more different. Like hers was totally, completely different. Theirs was more about like, you see somebody on the side of the road, remember they were somebody's daughter, and, somebody's best friend and all that stuff. And I had this song literally ready to go out when I saw that she announced that hers was coming out. And I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me, And so I just waited, my label put it out. We didn't put anything behind it until our big day. I knew Katie loved this song. And so I went in and made I always wanted to do a piano version of it. And she was like, I remember listening to it and her just crying, and her showing her dad the song for the first time. I like walked in the kitchen and they were dancing to it, and she was crying and holding her dad. And I just remember thinking, wow, like I started crying, and I was like, this song is so powerful. I know if it gets heard, people are gonna want this song in their lives, you know. And so putting this special wedding version out is what we call it, She's Somebody's Daughter, the wedding version. It has taken on a whole new life and has rejuvenated this song. I mean, in the last 2 months, we're talking over 9 million streams, you know, of this song all around the world. And, you know, it got up in the top 50 viral songs on Spotify, and not only the US, I mean, I think even in Sweden and Norway, we were like top 10, you know, and I've never had a song do that. So it's just been, this song has been a massive, I mean, it was all over TikTok. I want to say like, you know, close to 200,000 videos have been made with this sound on TikTok, which I never would have thought that. You know, I just posted it and thought I'd get 5,000 likes. Like that would have been big, you know, but now I'm looking down and it's like 30 million views later on TikTok, and big people, you know, social media influencers using the song that I don't even ask them to. They just do it. It's just been wild to see the growth of this song, and all the videos I'm getting of people using this in their wedding or showing their dad their first look at their wedding. I mean, it's just been, I've cried so many times because of this song. It's been a wild ride.
I'm getting emotional now, to be fair.
I mean,
Yeah.
You've got it in you, like engraved on your wedding ring, haven't you, on the inside?
Yeah, I do. I was actually going to tell you that. Yeah. So on the inside of my wedding ring,
How did
Creepy.
you
It
know? Yeah.
it actually
I'm
says
doing
She's
research.
Somebody's Daughter.
Yeah, that's insane. Because like the music video for it as well, was that like filmed actually on your wedding day?
That was, yeah. So
Oh.
I had the guy, he was coming to film my wedding, and I said, hey, at the end of this, I just want to put my my song She's Somebody's Daughter to it. And he has been my videographer. He was the videographer for That's You. His name's Wales Tony with Whaletail Media. And I had this idea. I said, hey, you know, when I went in and recorded it, I actually had him come into the studio and record me singing it down and recording it. And then I went through all of my wife's home video footage growing up, and I had her mom give it me all. And I went through and I found my favorite clips of Katie, like a little girl with her goggles on or tumbling or whatever it was. And I sent it all to him. And I said, hey man, make this video. I want to use her home video footage, this live footage of me in the studio, and then use our wedding, you know, for it. And he sent me that back, and I was just floored. I just could not believe how an amazing job he did on it. I mean, he crushed it. And, you know, I think I've never had a video I think we're over 3 million views on YouTube now with that video alone. And just a month and a half, you know, we had 3 million views. And so he did an amazing job. You know, he took the idea and ran with it and made it next level. But yeah, all that footage is 100% from our wedding day, of just us having an amazing time at our wedding and her home videos and me singing it live in the studio.
Oh, that's unreal. Because I was saying to Alex before, like we came on the interview, you that like in quite a fair few of your music videos that your wife like is in them like together. So it's
Yeah.
like quite nice to see that you've got like that relationship and on camera, and like you're not just using just anybody for like your music videos, that they are personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I think one thing I learned is that people like her. You know, they love her. They love seeing us together, and it's just real, and I'm comfortable. I don't have to use some actor or anything like that. It's all her, and it's all real. You know, she's been in you know, my last 4 music videos, she's been in them. You know, we put a song called It's Your Loss, and she's actually comes out at the end of the video and kind of makes like a cameo in it. And then we did That's You. No, she's been in my last 5 because she was in Before You, another song we put out around my engagement, It's Your Loss. And then we did That's You video. And then she did Beach Ain't One, obviously, and then Daughter video. But we actually had a song called Stay at Home Dad that we just put out on Father's Day, that she's not in that one because it's more based around dads, obviously. But yeah, the 4 or 5 videos before that, she was in every one of them.
Oh wow. That's do you know that's I really like that, because as you said, it's such a personal kind of thing to do that with. So as you say, you don't have to get these random people that you have no chemistry with. It makes everything look more like natural and more genuine. So for everyone listening, at least when they go to see your videos now, they'll start going, so who's that person? Oh, that's his wife, right?
Yeah.
So they just don't really like this actress.
But like going back to your wedding day, one of your groomsmen was Preston Burst of Low Cash.
Yeah.
So like, is there any chance of you guys ever working together or like maybe collaborating on a song
Yeah, so we actually did right before COVID hit. We were on tour together, and I was out opening shows for them, and but he became like my older brother. You know, we were over there at his house a lot. He taught me a lot. I learned a lot from him, and we wrote a lot of songs together. And I actually have a song that they recorded that they're going to put on their new record. That it's called "Ain't Everybody." I love the song. This message is awesome, and they're going to put that on their new record. And I mean, obviously, I would love to be able to do a song together in the future. I have a couple songs actually that I've written in the last little bit. I'll be like, man, this would be a great Low Cash and me collaboration. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, we're going to continue to write songs. And one of the songs called "Before You" that I wrote for our engagement, I actually wrote with Preston and Chris, both from Low Cash too.
Right.
So I put out a song that we wrote together, and they're getting ready to put out a song that we wrote together. So we're obviously going to keep this relationship up because we're writing great music together. I'm sure we'll tour together some more, and I just really love and appreciate those guys.
Oh, great. Now we've just we spoke just before we started the interview. We spoke about the last 18 days. Now that seems like a very tiring but also a very exciting thing that you've done. 18 shows in 18 days. Now, please tell us, what has that felt like?
Yeah, I mean, feels like so tiring, because like just a couple, like May 19th to June 6th, I also did 20 shows in 19 days. So
Wow.
like we've been out doing so many of these shows, and the last 18 were pretty hard because I started in, if you know the geography of the United States, I started in Southern California in a place called San Diego, and I went up the whole West Coast all the way over. We're talking, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 miles of these 18-day run, playing a show every night, jumping on airplanes, flying to a new location, playing 2 or 3 in that location, flying to a new one, playing 2 or 3. And so it was just, it was definitely tiring, but it was so well worth it. And, in the middle of this run, I actually got to have my first full band show in a year. My band drove out and met us, and we played a first full band show. And that was amazing to see people again. I'm not going to lie, it was very difficult to play full band. I haven't done it, in a year. And I got so used to playing these acoustic shows. And that's what we've been doing, is playing private acoustic shows all around the country in people's backyards, which I just kind of got that idea from senior year, just posting on my socials and saying, who wants a concert? And that turned into, I think right now we're around 97, 98 of private shows in people's backyards around the country. And so, I mean, hey, as soon as stuff opens up and anybody in the UK wants me to fly over and play at your house, you let me know. All right.
Yeah. Right here. Yeah. That's 2 people sitting
Let's
here.
do it. But no, I mean, it was just, it was a cool way to give music to people again and put a smile on people's faces. And so these last 18 days have been amazing. It's really good to have the last, 3 days here that I've been off the road, 2 days, and just writing songs again and seeing my wife and actually getting some sleep and seeing my dog has been amazing thing. Like, you don't realize how much you miss your own bed until you're sleeping in 18 different beds, because we didn't stay, like, it's just a lot.
Yeah, I'm one of these people that I'd like my own bed. I don't sleep well anywhere else. So
Yeah.
I mean, 18 days, I can't even go 2 days. That'll be me done. But that sounds like such a very tiring experience, but a very exciting experience. And how did your band feel when you met for the first time to perform?
They really liked it. They loved it. Obviously we had some new guys because the band not the same, with people having to move home and things being a hard time. And so, 2 or 3 of the same guys coming out, it was just exciting to see them again, hug their necks and play music together again. It was a special night.
Did you ever find a difference in between like the crowds and stuff from before COVID? Like, so did the crowd ever seem sort of like, did they blow loads of steam off, or was it a case of people were a bit more cautious, like standing away from each other? Because in the UK we haven't seen anything yet. So
oh no, people are rocking. I mean, we're scared to stand next to each other that I've seen. Maybe some people obviously probably still are, but most people are like, hey, we're excited to be out. We're excited to be at a show again. They want to be as close as they can to the stage. They want to feel the music, not just see it. They want to feel the kick drum. They want to feel the bass. And so, I think if you look at all the festivals going on around the country that all these artists are posting, they are massive crowds of excitement, people are excited to have music back again.
Definitely. I just can't wait for that feeling.
I know. I cannot wait.
So finally, like, what does the rest of 2021 have for yourself? Can we expect any new music videos, tour dates?
Yeah, so we're 100% going to be putting out new music. I got songs in the hopper already that I'm really excited about that are getting mastered right now. Obviously, that will come with more music videos too. That's been our goal since being off the label and being independent. I've just been putting out a song with a music video every time. And we just put out a song called Stay at Home Dad. That was for Father's Day and for my dad. And that video, if you haven't watched it, it's one of my favorite videos I've ever done. And we have some new songs that we're working on, and obviously some tour dates. We got a handful of full band dates, which is super exciting to finally see those coming in. But we're also still playing some of these backyards, people that I couldn't get to in the summer that have wanted a show. And I promised them, hey, let's try to figure something out. And we're working on dates in October. And, right now we're about completely booked up all the way through, up till October. And so we're trying to figure out what we're going to do, if we're going to do any more of this stuff November, December, or if we're just going to take that off, because we've been, like you just said, 18 shows in a row, 20 shows in a row. Now it's like, okay, I need to write. I need to get back in my writing world and focus on creating again.
Oh, really looking forward to that. Well, Drew, thank you so much for coming on and answering all these questions. Hopefully it hasn't been like, because we were very excited for you coming on. So hopefully we haven't like kind of, what's the like, just kind of like fired everything at you, bombard you with tons of questions.
No, man, this is great.
It's like an interrogation. I've just got one thing I would like to do. It's called a rapid response game. I basically just got 10 questions with 2 answers, and you just have to choose one, like the first thing that comes to your head. It's nothing bad, so you won't get in trouble for.
Okay, good.
especially from your wife. So we always make sure of that, because I know the feeling. Because I know you said you like your own bed, you don't want to sleep on the sofa. So
yeah, exactly.
We completely understand. So we'll go question 1, nice and easy. Beer or whiskey?
Man, probably beer.
That's just the first one.
Yeah.
2, a dive bar or a nightclub?
Dive bar, hands down.
Definitely. Number 3, cowboy boots or comfy sneakers?
Cowboy boots.
Number 4, double denim or white tuxedo?
Oh,
I've seen you in the white tux.
I have done the white tux at the wedding day, but probably double denim.
It's a hard one to choose, because I like.
Yeah.
Number 5, a small hall venue or a festival?
Oh, they're both so special. Right now, I'm ready for some festivals. I'm just ready to see a lot of people.
Oh, that would be good. Question 6, Wrangler or Levi's?
Oof. I hope neither one is listening right now, because they'll be mad at me. Probably, man, I like Wrangler shirts, but like Levi jeans. So I'm like in the middle.
Put them together.
Okay, we'll put them together.
Yeah, we'll go Wrangler top and Levi jeans. There you go. Out of trouble straight away. You're fine. Number 7, bonfires or fireworks?
Bonfires for sure.
Definitely. Number 8, fishing or hunting?
Oof. Probably hunting.
I always prefer fishing. I don't know why.
I like it.
Yeah. I never catch anything, but
have fun with
it. Yeah, it's always chilled. Number 9, and you've mentioned these 2 already, Alabama or Brooks and Dunn?
Oh, you can't ask that. I mean, come on. Probably Brooks and Dunn.
Awesome. And finally, just to finish off, one of the hardest questions you'll have to come across, which everyone has had to come across. Who do you prefer as a person, Alex or Blaine?
You can't ask that. I like both of y'all. Y'all are great.
I will accept that. Just because it's you, I'm accepting that to say that you like both of us. I'm just glad you said you liked us, to be fair. You could have just said neither.
Neither.
Right. Well, once again, Drew, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and some of the answers you have given have just been incredible. And some of the things that we've learned about you as well, like the whole like senior year doing like Zoom concerts and stuff. That was just incredible to find that out. And I'm sure everyone who's listening is probably going to shed a little tear over that kind of story as well, because I was quite emotional over it.
Yeah, hopefully
Well,
you can
thanks,
get
man.
to the UK sometime and get some concerts in. And if not, hopefully me and Alex can get across to the Estates and get to see you perform live.
Yeah, man. I would love UK. I've never been there. I've never played. I've never
Really?
traveled. And so like I would love to eventually. You guys got to find a way to get me over there to play some shows. Let's make it happen.
We'll
Come
get
on.
like we've got Country the Country music festivals where like Luke
Yeah,
Combs is doing it.
CTC or whatever.
And then we've got singer-songwriter sessions as well, like Travis Dennon and Danielle Bradbury and stuff's being on them. So
yeah, you're next. You're definitely next. You're definitely having to come over. I've got a big garden, so you can just do a backyard.
There we go.
So we'll put up a marquee in that, and then it'll probably just be me and Blaine there, because no one knows where I live. So,
well, thanks so much, guys, for having me. I had a lot of fun, and hope to see y'all down the road.
Thank you for taking your time to speak to her.
Yeah, and take care, and please stay safe still in these times.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Bye.